Hello and welcome to another update for my Mets Realm theme team perfect team for Out of the Park Baseball 25. This is the year 2043 for my team, and previous season I made it to the wild card and I did not make it past the first round, past the wild card I should say, but I did make the playoffs, so I was sort of happy. I was very happy with my performance in the Bronze League, having just made there after winning the championship. And so now we're in the year 2043, the second straight year of us being in the Bronze League. And yeah, let's talk about how that went. It was a pretty interesting season. And yeah, I think you might find this a little interesting. If you're new to the channel, this is a Mets Realm theme team. Every card has to be a Met. That's pretty much my criteria. And how I do this is I go through the stats and then you can guess my record at the end. So, in any case, let's get started. Let's go to the rotation. Immediately, you should notice that DeGrom is down back in the first spot, and that's because he had a really good season, a 3.808 ERA and 8 wins, 8 losses. He had 33 starts, a pretty low number of wins and losses, but he was pretty effective. And most of the season, he had an ERA very under 3, and then he kind of bottomed out a little bit by the end of the season to tank his ERA to 3.08. Christian Scott, the first season that he really felt mortal, 14 and 8, 3.26 ERA, and yeah, I think that ERA is it's not horrible, but he wasn't the dominant pitcher that we have seen in previous seasons if you've been watching my updates. So that's him. Noah Syndergaard, a 4.32 ERA. This is probably one of the most recent seasons that he has been disappointing. Not very good. Let's go to his game log. I want to kind of show him. He started the season off giving up 4 earned runs, 5 earned runs, 5 earned runs, 6 earned runs, and suddenly his ERA is at a 10. But then he rattled off 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 1, 4, and then 2. And even after that, his ERA was only down to 5.08. So you would think, oh, maybe he had a slow start and was much better, and the ERA might be a little inflated, but he wasn't really all that great, all that dominant. The rest of the season, although he wasn't horrible, he just wasn't that reliable pitcher that he was in the previous leagues, and so I think we're starting to see his breaking point because he never quite got under 4.3 ERA. He was giving up in July. He had a 3 earned runs, 4, 3, 5, 3, 4. Then he did go 1, and then in August he had 1, 3, 3, 1, 1, 2, 0. Then he had a bad 5 in September. And so it seemed like he might have been on the right track, but didn't quite get to where we wanted him to go. So, kind of disappointing with him. He wasn't terrible in the second half, but he also wasn't that ace that he was previously, that reliable second spot pitcher. All right, let's go to Frank Viola, 4.71 ERA. This is a huge drop off from where I was before. He did start off fairly okay, and then he kind of dropped off near the end. He performed maybe a little bit better than we would have thought, but maybe we're starting to see his breaking point, and he's at a 4.71. And I'm sure you're wondering, why is he in the 4th spot? Because Bobby Ojeda right below him, 7 wins, 18 losses, and a 4.61 ERA. Because Bobby Ojeda has 18 losses. It's insane. My upgraded Bobby Ojeda. Probably the most disappointing performance of anyone. So let's go take a look at Mr. Ojeda. So, started off giving up 3, then 1, then 3, then 5, then 1, then 5, and that put his ERA at 4.72. That at the beginning of May. Thought he might have just been a rough patch, but then he gave up 3, 3, 6, 6. Put his ERA all the way up to 6. And then he looked like he was doing well in June, giving up 2, 0, 2, 1 earned runs in 4 starts. So that put his ERA down to 4.65. And then he never quite settled down. He was very inconsistent for the rest of the year, and you can see a lot of red. Now, a lot of that red isn't just the bad starts necessarily. He's got a lot of red in some of his good starts. So you know what that means. Pen hitting. Not all him, but obviously 18 losses is pretty bad. So let's go to the back to our pitching. All right, let's go to our pen. This was interesting. Pen. So our closer, Tug McGraw, 3.27 ERA, 25 saves. Not horrible. Not great, but not horrible. He did take a lot of losses sort of near the end of the season, so I'm not that thrilled. And he did have a big drought of no saves, and we're going to kind of show that a little bit. He had a really big drought, so we can see this column here. You might need to go full screen to see, but I'm going to show you where the saves had a halt. I think it was... There was a big drought in saves. Let's see. Let's see. Trying to pinpoint, but I think it was July where he had he had 1 save in July, 2 saves in July, July 11th, and then July 16th. And if you look, he only, well, actually a little more than I thought, but not many appearances in July. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 appearances. So as you can see, the ERA hovered around 2 for most of the season, in the mid 2s. Then it kind of ballooned up at the end of the season. So that was kind of disappointing. Gave up a lot of earned runs near the end. So that's an ominous sign for the team. Billy Wagner, 3.39 ERA, had 2 saves. Can't complain a whole lot about him. Wished he was a little better, honestly. Orozco, 3.26 ERA. I had him hovering between middle relief and setup most of the time, and was generally kind of okay with him, although he was a bit shaky. For Sella, I had I'm trying to remember if I had another relief pitcher in his spot. I think I might have did. And had I put in, and so for Sella, oh yeah, maybe last season I did, and he started the season here. So 4.03 ERA. He kind of dropped off near the end of the season, but he was generally pretty good most of the season. So a little lower than it was last season, but far more games. McDowell, 3.36 ERA. This is kind of where I expect him to be, in that range. And so I brought him up. I started him this season, actually, and he was much better than last season. So I'm happy about that. Edwin Diaz, unreliable. 4.57 ERA. This is the live Edwin. Yeah, 4.57. Wish he was better. I have him on avoid high leverage. You can't see that on your screen, but that's what I have him as. And Craig Swan, long reliever, 3.38 ERA. Can't complain. His ERA was actually a little higher most of the season, but he came down by the end, so I'm happy about that. Bartolo Colon, 5.49 ERA. Hasn't been a fantastic long reliever, but I like him because he's an innings eater and he's got a high stamina, and so I usually don't have him in close game situations. So, or at least that's my intention. It's not always how it works with the game and how they make decisions. So now why don't we go to our hitting? This is where it gets a little bit interesting. So here's my lineup, and immediately you can probably see a big difference in last season. I've got Kaz Matsui as my starting shortstop. You're probably like, why would I have Kaz Matsui as my shortstop? Before we even look at the stats. And you can see I got Edgardo Alfonso batting 6 against righties right here. He usually was batting much higher. And yeah, that's those are two big glaring things that you should notice, which is not a good sign, because we're gonna look at the stats now. First, let's get right to it. Bobby Bonilla, 31 home runs, 96 RBIs, 304 average, and a lot of good stuff here. He was actually the MVP. So, I'll tell you that right now. He had a really good season. Then Edgardo Alfonso, 12 home runs, 65 RBIs, 288 average. He actually was a lot better than he might have felt like to me during the season. And yeah, not a horrible average, but his splits were very way off. Piazza, 20 homers, 74 RBIs, and a 271 average. Kind of the same thing. His splits weren't fantastic, but he was okay. And then Kaz Matsui only played 48 games, but he did bat 265, 17 RBIs. He was primarily the right-handed batter versus right-handed pitching, I should say, in September when I made that swap. Cedeno didn't have a very great season, and 236 average. So right there you can see the drop off. 30 stolen bases, and Dave Magadan, 235 average, not very good. You might have to go full screen to see this better, but it should be okay. Howard Johnson, 221 average, 18 homers, 69 RBIs. Not horrible, but not particularly great, but expected from him. So, Strawberry, 23 homers, 70 RBIs, which is a little on his lower side recently for homers. Beltran, 22 homers, 73 RBIs, and 51 stolen bases. Not horrible, not amazing. Kind of middle of the road of what I've been getting from him. Would have liked to see more RBIs and more homers, but I did have him shuffled in the lineup most of the year. Lindor, 191 average, 1 home run, 39 RBIs. He didn't have a good year. We usually get a little bit more out of Lindor. The only reason why he's on the team because of his defense. But there is a card update coming next season, which will be then tomorrow, and I expect his card to be upgraded, so we'll have a better Lindor. And let's see, Alonso, 77 homers, 4 RBIs, not much. 40 RBIs, not much. Duffy Dyer, 2 homers, 155 average, not much. So let's go right to the results now. Let's see. So now that you have seen my stats, how well do you think I did? You saw my Bobby Ojeda rack up 18 losses, so that's not a good one. But you did see some general decent pitching numbers, and the pitching was a little bit better overall than I would have expected by the end of the season. So anyway, let's reveal it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So my team ended 76 and 86, which is 10 games below 500. I did not make the playoffs, and it was a surprising season. And you might ask, how did that happen? Well, there's a little thing called bad luck in this game. Or if you're a conspiracy theorist, you might think the game is broken. I'm still trying to determine that, but in the let me see, in the month of August, let's go right to, sorry, I'm stalling for time here. Here we are. A lot of red. And you will see that I only won, what was that, 6 games all month of August. That includes a 15-game losing streak. So imagine you are doing really well. You're on top of the division, or within 3 games of the division, on top of the wild card. Then you get hit with a 15-game losing streak. Look at my record. I'm down 10 games, so you have to assume, like, if I don't have a 15-game losing streak, my record's a lot closer to 500. And so that just tanked me immediately. And not quite sure how that happened, but this team right here is the team that won first place in the division, so that's not surprising. And then 3 more here, so I lost 7 games against the first place team, and that just that just tanked me in the division standings. But even worse is it put me very close to relegation. So I had 76 and 86. Relegation was 72 wins. And so I was hovering, I was only like 3 games ahead of relegation after August. And so that made me in panic mode. I was playing panic mode all yesterday, all on Saturday. So I'm glad that I'm still in the Bronze League, but it was really, really rough. And if you go to the team, you can see a lot of red here. Not sure if you can, you might have to go full screen, but I'm third in ERA and I'm very low in every other category. So this was a really bad season. They did release some new cards, some Mets cards. There's a tournament card, a Skip Lockwood card here. I don't think there's any available at the moment. That's a tournament edition. And they released a Cespedes card right here. So those are 2 cards that I will be going for. And yeah, kind of disappointing. Didn't expect my team to drop off the way it did, but that's kind of the way the game goes. We'll see how things go next season. My personal opinion is that 15-game losing streaks are kind of unrealistic. You don't really see them. Although if you're watching baseball now, the White Sox have a 20-game losing streak. So, but to go from what I did last season to this is very disappointing, and it's hard to tell why that is. And I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist right now, but it's something that is of concern and I'm going to be closely monitoring my next season to see how well that goes, because I hope this is not a sign that we've hit a wall. Just when we think we're overcoming something, we hit a wall. And so let me show you the wild card standings. I ended up 8 games out of the wild card. 15-game losing streak will do that to you. I was clearly like way up there for the wild card right before the losing streak. So yeah, the top wild card was 90 wins. 84 was the second one. So that's not good, not good, not good. And the division standings, I don't right here, 18 out of first. Another tough division actually, so maybe I shouldn't be too upset. 94 wins, 90 wins, and 84 wins. So somehow I always get the bad luck of the draw that I am in the tough division. So maybe that's why I did bad. But yeah. So this is the year 2043. And just so you don't think I'm lying, let's go to our team reports and logs right here. In April, I was 14 and 10. May, 15 and 12. June, 15 and 11. July, 12 and 15. Not a good month. Not horrible. August, 6 and 21. That'll really tank your season. So, yeah. we'll see how 2044 goes. This was a disappointment, to say the least. And now I'm a little more nervous than I usually am going into a season because I feel like my time with the game, depending on how next season goes, could be coming to an end soon, and I don't want that to happen. Although usually by September or October, that's usually where that wall hits. So, for free to play at least. So, as you can see, I got 325 packs. I'm not going to open them just yet. That Cespedes card I could probably get through just purchases. That tournament edition isn't even available yet to get. It's actually not even on the market yet. So let's wait a little while for more. But until then, thanks for watching my Mets Realm theme team update for my 2043 Mets. And we'll see how 2044 goes. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked my video. It supports me a lot, and I really appreciate it. I also do a lot of other things like demo playthroughs and for indie games and other kinds of content. And I will be doing a lot more YouTube live streams. I recently tested it, so you should see that in the future. And if you subscribe, you'll get notified on the YouTube notifications. So, in any case, thanks for watching. Not the year I expected it to be, but hopefully we bounce back next year. Have a nice day.